increase. So if anybody has any questions or comments, we'd open the floor for such. If not, close the hearing at 6 o'clock. And we'll start the council meeting. So if we can please rise for the pledge and remain standing for the prayer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the blessing of this evening. Just thank you for this opportunity to come together. Just thank you for each and every individual here. Pray for your blessing of guidance and strength upon us, not just in this room, but in this community. Help us come together. Help us look out for one another and be your hands and feet and meet the needs of others and be an example of your love to others. We pray for your wisdom and your guidance in every decision that we encounter this evening, and just pray that we make decisions that honor you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, Jan, if you would. Hearing's not back yet? Okay.
Bob Leahy.
Here.
Jason Brewer.
Here.
Tim Heiss.
Here.
Hugo Frias.
Here.
All right. Consent agenda. Trust you guys have had an opportunity to see it.
Yes, I had one concern, and that is that I had asked the question, right, about the buildings that the city owns in the process, and that's of course in the minutes. But there were 3 specific questions, and one was it applied to the building currently occupied by Roots Deli? That's not in the minutes, and the response was, yes, we did follow that procedure.
Right.
And that the building was up for sale in 2018 for a month and had no bidder. So that part was very important and just didn't make it into the minutes. 2, I asked whether the rock houses, renovate our city houses, were going. You have a question?
I have no question.
Okay.
But if you want to add these things, you need to type up exactly what you want stated.
Okay.
And as long as everybody's okay with that, then I'll put them in.
Okay. So I'm sorry for
No,
I should have thought, because it's a bit long. I'm sorry about that, and I know you weren't here last time. So yeah, the second one was that the rock houses. Did we apply that process? The answer was yes, we did apply that process there. And the third question was, what about the Hub City Finance building, which there's talk of possibly using it for a brewery or something? And the answer was, well, that will have to go through that process.
Sure.
Okay. So I mean, I'll write that up and then submit that for amendment.
Cool.
Very good.
That's all right. Anything else? All right. I would entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move we approve the consent agenda.
We have a first and we have a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye. Consent agenda approved as presented. We do have special presenters. Yes, guys, Journey Home. So if you don't mind, I'll turn the floor over.
What do you want me? Want me there? In the mic?
If you want, yeah, if you're all right with that, that'd be great.
No matter where I'll go where you want me to go, Chad. You know that. No problem there. Well, first of all, for those who have not met me, I'm Eldon Solomon. I am the CEO and director of the Journey Home. We have always experienced good friendships and goodwill from the city of Union City. Last year, you were so gracious and donated to our mission $20,000. We're here for 2 reasons. One, to give you a report of what we did with that $20,000, and ask for $20,000 more if we can this year. So what I'll do is this is I have a report card, so to speak.
Thank you.
Can I have one of those?
Oh, you sure can.
I can't read my report card if I don't have something to read. Well, I can make things up just as much as anybody else can, for sure. So, what we're excited about is that your support last year and the support of others allowed us to really branch out and do things different in our mission to end veteran homelessness. And I told you last year that we're not just a organization that works on a facility and brings homeless veterans. We go out and we find veterans that are at risk. Last year in 2021, we helped 191 veterans, mainly locally, but all over the country, and we're really proud of that number. We thought 191 was something to be proud of. Again, and I'm not being anecdotal in any stretch of the imagination. Your support last year helped us to do more. And we helped 890 veterans last year, and through our mission. We started this last year a monthly food box giveaway. We have identified 60 veterans. We've started in October and given away 180 food boxes to veterans all over the county. And if you know of any veterans in your neighborhood or church that need these boxes, please, we have the ability to increase that number exponentially as we find that need. We transported last year 18 veterans, and last year, in 2021, last year we transported 82 veterans to medical appointments.
Was it 18 then up to 82?
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah. Again, what you guys did for us was just phenomenal. With 532 appointments, our disaster relief efforts was 120 veterans, and we even started to help veterans locally. So again, first responders, if you have a veteran that goes through a crisis, a fire or whatever, please call the Journey Home. We will respond to that veteran and help them recover. We helped 550 veterans in case management outreach services at 300 hours and 1,732 case management contacts, and our transitional facility took 78 veterans off the streets. 890, that's a pretty good number. What's really impressive is that, and I want to really highlight this, you have been a beacon. People have watched you as a city and have taken notice. The work that we are doing has been noticed by communities all over the country. Starting next month, we are expanding our veteran outreach team to Naples, Florida. Because of the work that we are doing, they've asked us to bring our veteran outreach team, our mission down there. So we are becoming a national organization starting next month.
Nice.
And it's going to be a very exciting year, very tiring year. Starting in May, I'll be spending 2 weeks out of every month in Florida. I just hired a new operations and business developer who will be helping me. His name is Richard Good. He's a veteran as well. So we are expanding. We have, and I think what's really exciting is that we approached the city of Winchester, Steve and Chad, midsummer last year about doing a benefit concert. We wanted to come in and use the Artisan facility.
Union City.
Union City, yeah.
Yes, sorry.
What did I say?
Winchester.
Oh,
Just for clarity.
Jiminy.
Just for clarity.
Did you edit that out? That did not happen. That just went down to 5,000. Right? I'm just so embarrassed.
All good.
All good. But no, we had the idea that wouldn't it be great to do a benefit concert, and because of the support of Union City, because of your facility, we came to Mayor Spence and Steve and said, hey, this is what we want to do. Can we? Would you let us have the facility for free? And they said, oh, better yet, we'll just donate one of our parks concerts in the weekend to this benefit, and we've developed, I think, a pretty exciting event that will I hope to bring people from all over the area into Union City on September 9th. We'll have 4 bands, vendors, starting at 2, going until about 10. I think it'll be a really good time, and when we say it's going to be in Union City, people are like, well, of course, where else would it be? So we're just excited for your support and your help. We want to do bigger and better things. Moving out down to Florida is going to help us out a lot. So part of my next speech then is, would you please consider donating again $20,000, or if you have more, we'll take that and go with it. I think that we've been good stewards of the donation you gave us last year, and we will be good stewards of anything you can give this year. So I'm requesting more support, sponsorship from Union City.
Guys have questions or
Any questions?
comments? The Naples opportunity is representative of kind of how you guys operate, isn't it? They've taken note, is that?
Correct.
Do I understand that correct?
Correct. Yeah, we were down there after Hurricane Ian responding and meeting people, networking. Naples, Collier County, Lee County, as Fort Myers and Naples. Some community members said, hey, took notice of what we're doing and how successful we are. And they said, we really want those services here. And they asked what it would take. And I referred to organizations, community development like Union City, and I said, if you can get together some city leaders, community members that really want this mission come down, bring it down here, you put together that organization and they will organize their resources locally, then we'll do all that we can. And that was back in October. And they've done a really good job in pulling that together. And the board, have a brand new board as of June. 4 of our board members are outside of the state of Indiana. 2 in Florida, 1 in Wichita, Kansas, another one in Ohio. And their whole push is to take the mission we as a county, a community together have created and push it out across the nation. And they've authorized that. And the whole focus of Naples isn't to put something in Naples. It's to learn from Naples. That committee that's involved in putting it in Naples is called the Journey Home National Mission Committee of the board. And the purpose is to take first what we've learned here with you guys, take it to Naples, what can we do then from there, and go out across the country.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for serving, by the way.
It's my honor.
I got a question.
Yes.
On your $83,000 salary roughly that you make as the CEO,
Mhm.
how much of that are you turning back into the Journey Home since you're here asking
Personally,
taxpayers for money? Yes.
I am a donor.
Okay.
And as a resident donor, I don't tell you what percentage, but I do donate back my salary.
All of it?
Oh, of course not. I gotta pay my bills, but I do donate my salary, parts of my salary. I would say that the majority of our staff will donate back to the Journey Home.
I was gonna ask, how big is your staff for the food boxes, the transportation? How many do you have helping you do all that?
So a lot of our services, like our food boxes, are and our transportation, that's volunteer based.
Okay.
So what's also exciting about this year is that last year we didn't have a volunteer base. A lot of what we have been able to accomplish this year because we have more of a robust volunteer. So I'd say about 75% of all of our transportation is done by volunteers.
Okay.
100% of our food boxes is done by volunteers and community partnerships within the community. Forgot to tell you that we've also opened up a rummage sale store here in town with all of those proceeds going into our overall mission, and that's done by 100% volunteers. Our staff I think is 11 strong.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
I do want to answer an unasked question about my salary and other salary. The nice thing about having a VA contract, none of the donations that you have provided goes to my salary. All of our salaries is budgeted out of our contract with the VA. So because of that contract, which is really nice, 100% of all the community donations we get, philanthropical, grant, and sponsorships go right back into VA programs and services. So it's rare that a non-for-profit organization can say that. Because if we didn't have the VA grant, we couldn't say that. But we do have that, so we take advantage of that. It's a blessing.
No, but,
Did I answer your question? Okay.
but like, with the VA contract, you're able to provide services that the VA wants to make available, but isn't capable of making available efficiently, if I understand correctly.
Yeah, so here's what, if I understand your question, our VA contract provides services at our transitional facility.
Right.
And those are services that the VA cannot provide, especially in this part of Indiana. We are the only transitional facility in the state of Indiana in a rural setting. And VA will rely upon community resource organizations like ourselves to do that.
No, that's,
Yeah, and we do it very well, Tim. The VA loves what we do. So on a transitional facility, first of all, these numbers are outstanding. Our transitional facility is compared to a national scorecard of other transitional facilities throughout the country. There's a standard in which we must meet in order to maintain a status of the contract. We have to have 55% of our veterans come into our facility be positively discharged back into the community, into any community. And positive discharge means that they get into permanent housing. And less than 20% of the veterans are kicked out. It's a really rough, hard population, so that 20% is really a hard one for most organizations to meet. So that's a national standard because that's a national average. The Journey Home for the last 6 years has maintained a 75% positive discharge rate, and about a 10% negative discharge rate. And the negative discharge rate is really unheard of. That's what, when the VA brags about the Journey Home, when Northern Indiana brags about the Journey Home to the other centers, they brag about our negative discharge rate.
it's a high bar anyway. And-
Actually, 55% is a low bar.
Well, I mean, the 55% compared to any other.
Yeah.
A lot of other
Yeah,
programs,
so-
not VA programs, but.
Correct.
other-
No, it's 75.
service programs.
Our 75% average is considered
That's-
very, very, very high.
Yeah, that's extremely high.
Yeah, it's 20 points above national average on the positive discharge, and about a 10% of 10 points below national average. Yeah, we are watched closely.
Any other question?
I have, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Does the Union City or other this type of donors is that like a match thing? Like, does that help you?
Oh, it does.
Garner a grant from the
Oh,
government?
absolutely. And we were able to. I'm behind schedule. I've been really busy writing grants and getting ready to go down to Naples. So I was here earlier last year. So I think we came in January of last year. But that we were the year prior, in 2021, I think we were only able to secure about $26,000 worth of grants, and last year we secured about 110. And we would use our support in the community, Union City, and those things as a support to that. And what's really exciting is that for the last 6 years, we've been trying to apply for grants, or we have applied for grants to the state, to the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs, and to the Indiana Housing and Community Development Agency, and have failed every year except last year because of our involvement in the community. What you guys did last year and hope to do this year sends a really strong message to those around us of what this is all about.
One more question. What can you tell us about the services you provided to veterans who live in Union City?
Great question. So many of the veterans that we give food boxes to live in Union City. Many of the veterans that we transport live in Union City. Matter of fact, the story we have on Facebook that talks about our mission through the eyes of a veteran. His name is Joe. He lives in Union City. Joe was diagnosed last a year or so ago with stage 4 cancer. And Vietnam veteran, very independent, and was very overwhelmed with stage 4 cancer. And like a lot of veterans, pretty isolated from his family, didn't have a lot of support, and decided to go to his veteran service officer. Not in this county, by the way, it was a different county. And sat down and told this veteran, this VSO, said, I have stage 4 cancer and I don't know what I'm going to do. And the VSO says, well, I don't know what to do either, but I know the Journey Home and I know what kind of organization they are. Let's see what they can do. So they called our facility and said, hey, here's Joe. Here's what's happened to Joe. And he's overwhelmed, doesn't want to shut down emotionally, but pretty scared. What can you do? And the first thing he says, well, we can take him to his medical appointments. And that's what we started doing. Matter of fact, for about a 6-month period, we took Joe to his medical appointments every single day for several hours at a time, with a volunteer staff sitting with him in his medical appointments. And then our harm reduction team noticed that he wasn't doing so well, and he would cancel his appointments for a time. And so our specialized team, our social worker, went over to his house and said, hey, Joe, what's going on, Joe? You're not going to your appointments. And using some very clear, explicit, this says, I hate my providers. They don't listen to me, and I don't want to go anymore. And they said, well, we have some community partners, a clinic that we really like. What if we found a new clinic for you? And he said, that's wonderful. And we hooked him up with some community partners and some community resources, which is what we do. And he started going to all of his appointments. We started taking him, and he wasn't progressing very well. And we discovered that he wasn't taking all of his medication. And we said, because he's just so disoriented and just overwhelmed and needed some more help. And because we were working with Joe and we're going to his appointments with him, and the doctors trust us, we have the release. We were talking to his doctor one day. I say we, the staff. My CEO title means I know nothing. My staff knows it all. And so when I say we, it's them. Talking to his doctor, said, listen, do you know that he's not taking all his medications because of this, and this? He goes, no, Joe didn't tell me. And before we could ask, he said he needs home health care. And so the doctor referred him to home health care. And so that is, when you talk about who do we help, what do, we don't just hand him a piece of paper or give him a referral. We show a great deal of empathy and compassion and walk with them step by step. And if it means that we take them to the appointments every single day, when we take them to their appointments every single day. And now Joe, about a year and a half later, is at his last stages of life, and we still keep track of him. We still walk with him, and he's a grumpy old man. But I call it Vietnam bitter. He has a right to be bitter, but it's okay. He served our country, and we'll serve him back.
Thank you. Yeah, very good. Any other questions?
Yes.
I have a question. So where do you mainly get your volunteers from? Like, I know you get community volunteers. Where's your primary source of volunteers? Do you just ask around town, or where would you get those volunteers from?
Josiah, I'm glad you asked that question.
Good question.
It's a great question. First of all, let me qualify my answer by saying we're just now building up our volunteer robustly program. Okay, so we have about a dozen volunteers. A year ago, we had 0.
Wow.
So we have a new clinical social worker. His name is James Cox. He is starting to reach out to schools, asking for schools to help with volunteers. He's getting some good responses. Part of Rick's responsibility is to help James go and find those resources. So it's one of those things that we would love to see individuals at your peers come in and join that volunteer effort. We want to have, as we, again, using our resources and our donations appropriately, we don't want to use those donations to fund staff that aren't necessary. So part of our business model is to have a really robust volunteer base throughout the country, but from each community, that volunteer basis goes.
So, something adding on to what he said, like National Honor Society students have to have so many
Correct.
community hours, that would be awesome.
Yes.
For them to get the community hours.
Yeah. It's been the only setback for us is just trying to get our feet under the ground. If you're here last year, you heard our tale of what happened after COVID and struggling last year. We recovered well. We still have some cash flow issues. We have a good budget this year, but cash flow is fluid. Hiring Rick here is probably one of our most important hires in the last 6 years, because working in the context of operations and business development, he's going to be really able to guide and direct that process. Rick comes from 25 years in the Army. 14 of that was being a recruiter commander. So he knows how to organize resources and organize people and get that done. So we're expecting Josiah to come back and saying next year, I was a volunteer and it's because of what, those kind of things. So we're excited about that this year.
On that album, on the 8th of April, our volunteer meeting,
Mm-hmm.
if anybody's invited.
Josiah, you can go back and talk to your school. We are having a volunteer orientation meeting at the UCR office boardroom. Do you know where that's at? It's downtown 123 West Washington. And what's that? West Franklin. And new volunteers, old volunteers are being orientated and learn about the journey home and as we move forward.
So at what time?
1 to 4.
1 to 4. On what
On
day?
the 8th of April.
April 8th.
Saturday afternoon.
No college.
Anybody here is welcome to join that. The city council, you want to come and learn. The orientation will be learning about the mission of the journey home, truly understand what we're all about. I gave today's Rick's first day, and two hours of the first 2 hours of training was on the mission. So we'll break that mission down, because many of the people in the community still think that we are a treatment center or we're a shelter. They don't have an understanding that we are not that, and we haven't been that for at least 3 to 4 years. And so we really want to educate that process, and educating our volunteers is important. And let me be very clear, if we were just a transitional facility, I wouldn't be coming here asking for money. Do you know why? The VA pays for that. There's no reason for us to ask you for money. 100%. If you look at this scorecard, out of the 890, 812 came out of the community. That's where your 20,000 went to, was the 812. We have no other funding to take care of those out in the community resources than what we get from you and other grants and foundations.
Well, I just wanna say, last year, the money came from payout, so that money's not available.
We still have 19 and change in that?
That I have, I don't remember, is that what I told you?
That's the last I remember. That's the last
It
figure I
hasn't
remember.
changed since then.
Okay.
I thought it was more like 9.
What fund is that? I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
ARP, the remaining
Oh.
ARP dollars.
But I can probably find it out if you want to get those real quick.
What's up? You guys?
Suggest you
Right
take
now, it's just left in the afternoon.
Okay.
What about using a portion of opioid funds?
I don't-
Of opioid, I don't know if that qualifies.
Yeah, I don't know I don't think it.
Just so you know,
Do you know? Do you have any?
no, I don't.
Okay.
But the majority, a very large percentage of the veterans we work with deal with drug addiction issues.
It might be a possibility there.
So we can look into
As long as the
that.
alignment's there, as long
Yeah.
they gave us like
Qualifies, that's-
4 or 5 sheets of.
Right, yeah, that's, I don't know whether it's truly qualifies or not.
Okay. Yeah, if it does, that would
But
be
it's
wonderful.
suggestion of a source.
Absolutely.
Part of it.
That's a great idea.
You're
Um,
right, it's $19,597.
Okay, that's what I thought it was, 19 and change. Tim mentioned the opioid funds as well. We just gotta check the verbiage.
To see if we can get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys want, is it okay if we table this for the next meeting? I mean, well, if you guys are okay with that, it's up to you guys, obviously, but to make sure we've got a legitimate avenue
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yep.
Sounds good, yeah.
totally kosher with the rules.
Would you like me back here for that next meet?
You're always welcome.
When is that next meeting, Chad?
April 10th. Right, yes. So April 10th.
I think it's, yeah.
It's in front of me if I could see it. Yeah. So, so yeah, that way we make sure we've dotted our i's and crossed our t's.
That'd be wonderful.
Super. Well, thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you very much.
All right.
Do you mind if we leave if I left?
No, you're good.
I've been here long enough.
You're fine. Department reports. The Lions Club's pancake breakfast is April 1st. Do we have any Lions members in here?
April 1st.
April, oh, there we go, Scotty, thank you. What time does that start? Is it 6 in the morning? Till like 12 or 1?
12 or sold out.
When it, perfect, thank you. So pancake breakfast, April 1st, and at the usual spot. And then on the 8th, and I think you guys also play hand in this, the Easter egg hunt. You guys helping with that as well. April 8th, and is that in Artisan Crossing?
No, it's at Harder Park.
Harder Park.
Shelter House 8.
Okay, cool. Shelter House 8, Harder Park, April 8th, the Easter egg hunt from 1 to 4. Or 1. Got your meeting mixed up.
1 to 4 would be a long Easter.
Yeah, that'd be a long hunt. Yeah, because I heard it lasts like 5 to 10 minutes, so. It's a lot of eggs.
They're all throughout the park.
Yeah, there's 5 million of them. Sorry.
Chad, I think there's actually something going on in Shelter House 8 where there's some food and some things like that.
Awesome. Okay, fantastic.
More of a community type event. So
Fantastic.
I
Okay.
don't know much of the details. I think there's something going on in conjunction with the Easter egg hunt.
Oh, super. Jan, you have anything? Council members, Tito, we'll start with you.
So, I think it was last week, we met with Cardinal Ethanol, and I just, there had been some concerns about whether there could be a sudden escape of or an explosion of, compressed carbon dioxide that could, cause damage or hurt people, or if there could be a large level leak of carbon dioxide, which if it were massive, could displace oxygen and asphyxiate people and, cause harm. For that, I think my concerns were adequately addressed because it's, I forget the number, but what is that tower in Indianapolis?
Oh gosh, yeah, 4 of them. The tallest high rise.
The tallest high rise in Indianapolis, 4 times that height is the depth to which the injection would be, and so this goes down. And during that time, like if you see a sort of a cross section of the Earth and the geological formations under there, there are a few layers that actually protect and buffer and help prevent anything from happening. All of that down there is at a very high pressure, which means that a high pressure carbon dioxide would probably be even under further pressure down there. These are experts that have done this in 3 out of 4, I believe it was, of this same type of arrangement in the United States. I think there's 7 in North America, but 4 of them are the United States, and 3 of them were done by the people that are working with Cardinal Ethanol. So they have the experience. What impressed me was sort of how all of the safety precautions that are required and the extra ones that they apply to ensure that it is sealed very tight all the way down the whole way. So no possibility even of a small leak, and that in any case there are sort of I don't know, it was halfway down or partial of the way down, there are detection I don't know, some kind of a apparatus or something that would detect if there's any rising levels of carbon dioxide in the way deep, right, between the four, if it's four of these cities, halfway down, they would be detecting if there's carbon, and if there is carbon dioxide leaking up, that it would immediately stop. And so to me, that is, sufficient, and these other ones have gone on for, 20 or I don't know how many years. So for me, that sort of quelled sort of that concern. There was another one where, is it going to cause, is it like breaking the shale layer, I don't know, a mile down, like fracking might, right? And if you know much about fracking, it has caused, tremors and sinkholes and things like that. Well, nothing like that happens with this technology, this way of working. So, that is going to remain intact. And so, again, I feel like my concerns were addressed and responded to. So I know there's some people that, they've read things here and there about, some disasters happening. I can't go into all the details, and I'm not an expert, but it's a very, very different technology. It's a very different way of doing things. From what I understand of the process, it is very, very safe. And so that's just my reading of that. I don't know if anybody has more comments on the ethanol. My other thing to report on is that I have been having a very interesting exchange on Facebook about K.I.S.S. and about the availability of services to take care of animal control in Union City. And so I think I have responded to the concerns regarding to the legality of the lease. However, I think the people who are raising the concern have a point in that is Union City really providing the animal control services that it is required to by law? I don't know the answer to that question yet. I do know that if the answer is no, then Union City has a couple of options for how to do that. One of them was discussed early last year, where we would build another facility, and that would handle dogs and cats, and that we were given a price range of about $30,000. That's just for the building. That would be maintenance and utilities costs and people hiring to manage that. All that's normal. That's one option. Another, or something similar, right? That could be any kinds of forms. And the other option is to rescind that lease with K.I.S.S. The way I read the lease, that is possible. But again, it's a matter of, are we then because it was land that was undeveloped that we leased. There was a facility that was built by K.I.S.S, right? So these are charitable contributions that many citizens made to K.I.S.S for the building. That would need, if we did that, we would need to reimburse that facility, I believe. If it's just, can we withdraw the lease and then have them keep the facility? I don't know how that would work, but I'm just imagining that we may need to reimburse them for that if we're going to take it over. All the other costs involved, reimbursing, paying back the rent that was paid in advance, and so forth. And the third option is one that I'm working on. And that is that we have a partnership between the city and K.I.S.S. And we have had in the past, and it has worked well in the past. There are here and there some concerns that is not doing enough. That what about the cats? Are they really taking dogs these days or not? So there seems to be some kind of misunderstanding there, and I'm offering, and maybe somebody else can step up and do it. I am offering to do a sort of a moderation because I mean, where there are misunderstandings, there needs to be dialogue. And I think that if that can happen, and if I think, you know, we can let down the tension and lay things on the table, we've got options. But the best option would be to just come to an understanding and an agreement. So that's what I've been working on and hoping to come through. But it's taking a while. And so at some point we may have to, you know, take another decision. So just to know that I'm trying to follow up on both sides, or three sides, or however many sides. And getting enough flack from some of our friends. But that's okay, because, you know, it's a concern. The peace citizens are concerned about this issue. So I appreciate that.
Anything else?
Can I rebuttal, you know?
Oh, wait till the end if you don't mind. Unless
Well,
I'm good.
He's referring to me on the party on Facebook that he's referring to.
Are you?
Yes, I have the message.
Well, I'm sorry.
For me, I mean, if I
You said
don't
you
mind
want
if other
discussion and
people.
dialogue. This is the
I don't know if it
perfect
was discussion and dialogue. I mean, normally the people from the public get an opportunity at the end to ask a question, but I defer to Mr. Mayor to make that decision.
Well, did you have anything, Tim?
I don't have anything like
Jason?
I do not.
Rob, did you have anything?
Area Planning Commission meeting last week. There was 3 petitions filed. Two from Winchester and one from Lynn. Just transferring properties from one zoning classification to another.
Mm-hmm.
All 3 were recommended for favorable. And if anybody wants to know the exact, I got the information here if anybody, and that's all I have.
Okay, cool. Steve? Nothing?
I have nothing at this time.
Josiah?
So I got a couple things. So like you mentioned before, the Lions Club Pancake Day is April 1st, on Saturday this week. And there's going to be a lot of students that are going to be helping out with that. A lot of volunteers for our school to help out with that kind of thing. Another thing is this week on Thursday, our school is going to be hosting a camera night for all the different sports, all the different spring sports that are coming about. And I also have that for any people that may have children that are juniors or seniors or who are planning to go on to do prom, which is on April 22nd. Prom tickets are on a discount this week. They're $5 less as compared to $20. You can buy them for $15 instead. And that's all I have.
Good job, Josiah. So spring sports picture nights this Thursday?
Yes, camera night. Yep.
Camera night, awesome. Old business ordinance 2023-04, which is amending the ambulance fees. This is on the second reading. Do we have any, there's been no changes to that since it was approved on the first reading. Do we have any questions or comments? If not, I would entertain a motion for approval on the second reading by title only.
I'll move to approve ordinance 2023-04, ordinance amending ambulance fees on the second reading by title only.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
It's Jason by hair. Jan, if you would roll call vote.
Bob Leahy,
Yes.
Jason Brewer.
Yes.
Tim Heiss.
Yes.
Peter Freeze.
Yes.
And ordinance 2023-05, which is the ordinance amending the water rates. This is also on the second reading. Do we have questions or comments? If not, I would also entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move we accept ordinance 2023-05, ordinance amending water rates on the second reading by title only.
All right, we have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
That was Bob. Jan, if you would, roll call.
Bob Leahy.
Yes.
Jason Brewer.
Yes.
Tim Heiss.
Yes.
Peter Freeze.
Yes.
And New business ordinance 2023-03, which is the annexation ordinance. And this is in the first reading. We had a public hearing last time. And as, if you recall, this is where we had the sliver of land in the middle of the housing tract that for whatever reason was not recorded in the county, along with everything else. So,
There were 2 or 3 pieces, weren't there?
yeah, actually, yeah. They're all rather tiny chunks. 4
I'm
total?
just saying 4.
4, sorry, thank you. Any questions on it? It's pretty self-explanatory. The only person that could oppose it was the guy that owned it.
This is also the guy that requested it.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, I would entertain a motion for that.
I'll move we accept ordinance 2023-03 annexation ordinance on the first reading.
We have a
Title
first.
only.
I'll
Sorry.
second.
Yeah, good. We'll call vote.
Okay. Bob Lay,
Yes.
Jason Brewer.
Yes.
Tim Heiss.
Yes.
Peter Reese.
Yes.
All right, and facade grant application from Sherry Edwards. Steve, did you want to tackle this one?
You guys should have it in your packet. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a new roof and some upper corner work, some tuck pointing and maintenance and repair. I don't have it in front of me, but I believe it's well within the $10,000 max of the facade grant. I think it was 49,000 and some change or something along that line. So I would just encourage council to keep progress moving forward. I mean, we're getting positive results with the facade grant. We're having good work done on these buildings and sealing them up. So I would encourage that we continue with that.
The work's not been done yet, right? Or-
No, it's done.
Oh, it's done. Okay, so
The roof is done.
they're good, okay.
There's some elements that they have.
Where's it at?
The Rice Building.
Old rice building. So they've got a little bit of unfinished brickwork because they were not able to do it in the weather. It's at the top, the parapet at the very top. They've got it, they have it temporarily repaired to keep it together, and then they're gonna come back from, and this is what the contractors told me,
Okay.
that they were gonna come back and finish it when the weather's fit, because it's not good to, they need, which they're, anytime, I would say now,
Gotcha.
but that's just a very small portion.
We did one last year. Did we?
That's
did one
correct.
for 'em last
If
year,
you
too?
guys honor this one, she will be ineligible for next year. The way the ordinance is written, you can apply and receive 2 out of 3 years. So this would be her second $10,000 facade grant in 2 years.
Any questions or thoughts?
What's going in there by chance? Is there a business going in there?
Finished projection, retail space, open air market, hair salon. Oh, sorry, retail space, open air market, hair salon are the proposed, at least so far.
You guys feel compelled to motion, or you?
I will move that we approve the facade grant application for Control Point 99 LLC for $10,000.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Jane?
Bob Lay,
Yes.
Jason Brewer.
Yes.
Tim Heiss.
Yes.
Peter Reese.
Yes.
All right. Visitors wishing to address the board, if you don't mind, stand, state your name, address, and the nature of your business. Each person has 3 minutes.
I'm not gonna respect the time. There's no law, no rule, no ordinance.
I'm sorry, we have to stick to the 3
There's
minutes.
no law, there's no rule, there's no ordinance, therefore I don't have to abide by it, and your minutes say may have 3 minutes, not shall, so may, I
So
deny
you may
that.
have, you may have.
I may.
Okay.
Legally, may means can, not shall. So, Tito, me and him have been going back and forth on the whole pause thing as he was talking. Now, there are certain things you guys have to do as city council, and I know none of you guys were on the council when this happened. Spence wasn't mayor when this happened. I'm not blaming you guys for this.
I was on council.
Were you on council?
Chad was on.
Yeah, I was on council.
Okay, but you guys were there. So when this took place, I'm not blaming you for that. There's a problem. There's an issue going on with your city. Your residents are messaging me, reaching out. Not just one, not just two. Lots of them were concerned about this. You guys have a cat problem, a dog problem. Your police department can only house 2 dogs at a time for a certain limit. That's putting the rest of the burden on Winchester. There's already deals going out with you guys. Our animal facility was just at council asking to raise prices because they're hurting. We're taking your guys' overload. That's where my concern comes from, Tito. I'm not doing this for views and clicks. I'm doing this because it's burdening my city because of your guys' inability to act on it. Now, we went over this law. Tito, you try to claim they're exempt. They're not. I have all the cards and everything. Their new receipts to be exempt on any of this, they're claiming their receipts are less than 50K. On 2013, they spent 170K for the new facility. That's part of their receipts. Therefore, they have some answering to do with the IRS. But what did not take place is there's certain rules you guys have to follow, just like Ryan brought up to you guys last time. You have to list it. You have to have a public meeting. By law, by state law, you guys have to offer bids for this property. You guys did not do that. I have clarification from Jan in an email, and I have it copied and ready for you guys if you want it. That did not take place. So there, you violated the law by doing that, Tim and Chad. 2, you guys did not get 2 appraisals and come to an average median price. I mean, according to this lease right here, you guys gave them this property lease and the building, it states in the lease, for $10, what is it? $10 a year for 50 years at $500? Who would have appraised that? There's something wrong there. Would you not agree, Tim? I mean, you're a businessman.
I don't agree with anything you're saying at all, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Like, what do you not agree with?
Go ahead, I'm not gonna take your time.
I have plenty of time. What do you not agree with?
Well,
I
first
actually
of all,
do. Are you going to stop me from talking?
You've had this
Well, I had this what?
discussion with Tito, so.
I had this discussion and we got nowhere. That's why I asked.
Because you don't recognize the state statute.
I do. I have the state statute right here. Would you like a copy of it?
Line 7.
Line 7. It says exempt for non-profit organizations organized for educational, literary, scientific, religious, and charitable purposes.
So you're saying that a 501c3.
They have to be pure charitable, non-profit, pure non-profit. Journey Home's a non-profit. Eldon makes $83,000 a year as CEO. That's not a pure non-profit. They pay salaries. There's different types of non-profits, what you guys are not understanding. Just because they're a 501c does not make them pure non-profits. These guidelines are put in place here. Me and Ryan's talked about it. Ryan's already asked me, if you guys don't come up with a solution, he can't figure this out, I'm going to file an injunction with the county court, which I was trying to give you guys the opportunity.
Go ahead.
I mean, I don't want to have to do that. I have enough on my plate right now. I'm giving you guys the chance to make the situation right. And Tito says I don't come up with solutions. I do have a solution, Tito. And yeah, it sucks. But according to this law, the lease is already null and void.
Okay,
According to this law.
we do need to wrap this up.
But at the same time, the lease is void. It states in here that the purpose of this lease is for construction and operation of an animal shelter. That's kind of funny because I have right here on your guys' Union City webpage, somebody found a dog just the other day. Turned into the Indiana Union City Police Department. Why? Let's go down to the comments. One of the ladies says, call pause. The other lady says, I did. She suggested I called animal control to scan, but they were unable, so they made me take him to the police station because they don't shelter animals. Another citizen says Paws doesn't shelter animals. Well, that's funny because the lease says an operation of an animal shelter. If they don't take animals, and Tito's response was find a cat, contact Paws to get a certificate to have it spayed or neutered. What does that do? It doesn't get the animals out the street. It doesn't stop them from destroying the garbage and throughout neighborhoods, dog attacks and stuff like that. That's not a solution. Then he got mad at me because I presented a problem and not a solution. Tito, I have it all here, right here. I mean, you made another citizen.
Mr. Kimbrell,
You made another citizen fear.
Josh, I'm
Yes.
sorry. We need to conclude this. If you don't mind.
You guys just got done talking about you want a dialogue to figure out the solution.
Yeah.
This is the chance and the opportunity for a dialogue. This is where it's supposed to take place. This is where it's supposed to happen.
You're not the decision maker.
You're not a decision maker.
What do you mean? This is a city council
I
meeting.
totally
A city
understand. We're here to
council meeting.
represent you, so let us deal with the actual stakeholders that provide the services or can provide the services to find the solution. I'm not negotiating with you. I actually presented your ideas as one of the options the city has.
Like you said you would, which I'm glad you did.
So let us work on that.
But
and we will
when? How long? I've been talking about this for over 6 months. You guys haven't given me more than 3 minutes. You haven't given me a back and forth. So where are you really trying to solve this problem? You had Kobe Wells and his wife come in with Forever Friends trying to take more of the okay, they came in trying to take more of the money from the taxpayers to substitute for this facility that's already in a lease agreement, and you guys are like, oh my God, we might have to reimburse them the money. So what? Cut your losses.
Spent it.
Okay.
Cut your losses right now.
So
end it. Pull the lease. They're in violation of the lease. I'm telling you. If you don't want to say they're in violation of the
we will
lease,
seek legal counsel,
that is one of our options.
and we will proceed accordingly.
okay. So
Thank you.
when can I get a back and forth, an answer or something, so I can contact these people who still are contacting me, upset about it?
We will convey the next.
And what are you guys going to
Tell
do?
them that we're their representatives. They
Yes.
can contact us.
Yes.
They have. They tried. They said they still haven't got answers.
I'm on Facebook. I handed out
Tito,
cards
you
during the
told
parade.
somebody
Okay,
it's cool to take pot shots safely when you're anonymous.
No.
Implying,
Well, you know, if they're gonna slander us on
Josh,
public-
officer,
please,
what? Please what?
Please sit down.
No, thank you. I'm speaking right now. This
you're
this
just-
is a concern right now that you guys are not addressing.
No, we will address it.
When?
We
I've
will-
been here. How many times, Chad? How many times have I been here talking about Paul's?
You haven't been here at all this year talking about Paul's.
Okay, this year. When have I? How many times have I been here speaking about Paul's? I didn't say this year. I've been here 4 times bringing up Paul's.
So I'm sorry.
4 times. Quit looking at the officer. This is a public meeting. I have every right to speak, and the First Amendment says you can't
You are now
silence me.
disrupting our
I'm
meeting.
not disrupting.
Yes, you are.
Disorderly conduct.
Yes.
What is it? Cite it. Cite the law, because it's not a chargeable offense. Speaking in public, disorderly conduct, you cannot make a constitutionally protected activity a crime. You can't do it. That's how lawsuits are formed. So keep looking at your officer like a moron, because it's not going to do nothing. I'm here with a problem. I want a solution to
We
it.
will bring
I
a
want
solution.
you guys to come forward, because you guys are now burdening my city with your problem.
This is not your city, and we are not.
We take your overflow. What's the contract between you
Officer-
and Winchester?
We have no
Why?
contract.
How many dogs have you taken to Winchester Animal Shelter?
I think it's 0.
Zero.
You don't take them. Aaron comes and picks them up. I was there when Aaron told me about the deal. I have more inside information than you think.
No, I'm
Aaron
not
says.
questioning that.
Aaron says he makes runs out here to Union City constantly. Constantly. Who's paying Aaron? Winchester taxpayers.
That's-
We
Who's
are
forcing
paying him to come
here?
handle your
Who's
problem.
forcing them to come
Do we-
here? We actually offered to pay.
I know you guys have offered to
I
pay.
mean, and it's because you guys raised the pay and it didn't work. And now you come back asking us to pay. I mean, come on.
I'm not asking you to
You
pay.
did-
I'm saying
you
fix your
said
damn
you wanted
problem so we don't
Okay,
have to deal with it.
Okay.
I'm explaining that we're
That's
doing
enough.
that.
That's enough.
You're
Do we have
explaining
any?
what?
Do we have
to me?
any other? Do we have any other?
I'm still talking. I haven't
No,
got.
you're-
I haven't
you're-
got
you're
an
not.
answer.
You're done.
So when should I expect it?
When do your rights supersede someone else's? Because we have other people here. I believe,
Does
who'd
anybody
like
else
to
wish to speak right now? Nobody else wishes to speak.
You wanted to speak earlier, but suddenly you don't. So,
Just about the water problem we talked about Saturday.
all right.
What's gonna be your solution? What's your plan of attack?
Should he wait a
Well,
week
to
for an
inspect
answer?
Further to find out what the problem is.
Oh.
We have to decipher exactly what the problem is. And could you state your name and
No, you don't have to.
For the
Road
record.
permit for 18 West Pearl Street.
Thank you. Well, he can do that as a courtesy, so he's in the
I'm
minutes.
just saying he doesn't have to.
Okay.
Did you have anything else you want to cover, Ron?
But what, we need to get you together with our municipal service guys, so they can find out. We have a line coming from the direction of your house that we're trying to figure out whether that's backing up or what's going on. So, Brad's on vacation, but Rob's available, and we can get together with you to coordinate to try to inspect and figure out where the water's actually coming in, so we can see if there's what needs to be done to resolve the problem.
Okay.
Because it can't be coming, I didn't see the event, so I don't know how much was on the surface, but it sounds like it's worse since the water's in that,
I've been here 23 years.
in
It's
that,
worse now than
in
last
that
year
sewer.
than it's ever been.
And when you told me that it did that when it came from the water tower, when they dumped the water tower, they put it into that sewer. So there's gotta be a backup somewhere or another that we
I
need to
agree.
resolve. And I think we can.
Well, it's hurting our sidewalks, and that
Yeah.
was another question that I had, was, you know, I didn't
But
know
the-
what you're planning
but
in
the
your
surface-
district.
the
so
surface water-
work on our sidewalks in your district.
Well,
What's
the-
that?
We've had plans to address sidewalks, but we can assist residents with their sidewalks. Residents own the sidewalks.
Yeah, you guys own the
We can assist
sidewalks, but you
residents
can't
with
do
that,
nothing
and
with them.
sometimes we get grant funding that replaces sidewalks. It's not a consistent thing. It's not an even thing. It's what we have to work with in grant funding.
Well, the water's done, you know, it goes up over the sidewalk now all the time, it's destroying the sidewalk.
But it shouldn't
Well,
really
thank
be
you.
going over the sidewalk now with those downspout drains diverted.
It's
There's
still
less.
up over the sidewalk when it rains.
Well, when it rains, yeah, because the sidewalks are only about that far above the street too,
Well,
so,
I don't know what it's doing, so.
yeah.
Okay, back to
Anybody else have any-
back to mine. When should I expect an answer from you guys, or a solution,
April 10th.
or anything?
April
April 10th, at the next meeting.
Yes.
Okay, so now my second question.
Now, I'm
I
sorry,
need
do you
clar-
guys have anything else
I
for
need
the council?
clarification. Who is
I
Gina
would
Marie
entertain a
Spence?
motion. I would entertain a motion for.
Chad, who is
Drew.
Gina Marie Spence?
We have first, we have a second?
Is that your wife?
That is my
And
wife.
I got a question.
All those
Did
in
you
favor
guys
signify by
fire Nick
saying-
Wells?
Aye.
Was he terminated?
Meeting adjourned.
Because I have this message
resigned.
here. No, I have this message here. From Chad, we have thoroughly vetted the information received regarding Nick Wells and have promptly terminated him. So, is this message from your wife? What happened?
I don't
Was
know,
he
but that's not
terminated or what he
represented.
was resigned?